And we are live. Hello everyone, this is the Void Executive and welcome to the stream. How is everyone doing? I hope this Wednesday has been a rather chill day. Today we will continue with the project of the robot animals. We've made the sketch of our third robot and today we will begin with the coloring phase. I have a feeling that it's going to take longer compared to the previous one because it has much less items and finer details to think about. So I have a feeling that today we may do some like a really good amount of progress, I would say. So without further ado, let's show what we currently have. Okay, last time during the stream of like half gaming and half drawing, we made this sketch over here. I think that there are some things that we can improve in this sketch. Nothing too serious, however, and then from there I think that we can start going with the coloring phase. So I would say let's begin. It's nothing too serious, I think. Then again, this is the sketch and we may change a few things depending on how we will look like once we add the coloring phase, but I guess we will see. I just want to like correct this area over here because this leg or arm or whatever kinda looks a bit disconnected from the rest of the body, so we'll try to adjust the shape in order to make it seem more connected in one way or another. Yeah, something similar to what we have right now. Oh, since I'm here, let me just remove some of the parts that we will not use, and I think we can already try and color everything. Okay, we grab the basic color. Take our trusty magnetic lasso tool. Also, before we do anything, let me quickly check if the stream is going. Okay, yeah, it seems like everything is going well. Then we can continue. Yes. Like sooner in like here in my like where I live, we should have one of those like summer thunderstorms. I hope it's not one of those that last only like 5 minutes or so, because it really is starting to get a bit unbearable in terms of heat. Like this morning I went to the gym, right? And the gym where I go to is not it's not far from where I live. It's like it's like a 5-minute walk. But even during those 5 minutes in the wait, I forget the name. In the... God damn it. It is a very simple word, but I don't remember the name all of a sudden. The path, like by the time I went from my house to the gym in those 5 minutes, like I got inside the gym as sweaty as if I've made a full workout, essentially, from how hot it is outside, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. Okay, now let's start with some generic shading. And yeah, I do hope that this thunderstorm that should be coming will be one that lasts enough to cool things down a little, because otherwise you just get more humidity and it just gets worse, which is less than ideal, let's say. Okay, right now I am like adding shadows in every junction, but then once we'll switch over here, we'll do a very similar thing in which we instead try to blend some sections together in order to give the idea of this material that is kind of wrapped around the main body. Yes. Something like so. And then maybe for the arms, we need to do some distinction. And then of course this part should be much darker overall. Okay. Try to give already some form of shading to some parts. Then even with flat colors, I think we should establish the types of materials for each section. Let's see what we can do. And then the color of this sort of faceplate. Can we try to already do some shading that would let us know what type of material this is? Okay. There we go. Now I think we can try and do some more in-depth shading for each section. Okay, let's try this dark shade for this area. When working on like these hard surfaces, it is in one way a good exercise for learning how to have control over the edges, which they are one of the most important things to learn when drawing, like learning how to control your edges, because that's what determines whether some surfaces are sharp or not. And sometimes when someone is at the very beginning, they tend to do the mistake of using the same level of hardness or softness. Usually they try to make things too soft, which will end up in the entire image being like looking very weird and very wrong, because the edges that should be like hard edges, they are soft instead, and so it kind of makes everything it becomes like a slurry of random brush strokes instead of something that has some thought put into it. Okay, let me try and change one of the plates with this lighter color. Would it change if it was maybe this one? What about this one? What if we try this one instead? Not sure if he needs to. Okay, let's try make this one slightly darker, maybe. Okay, let's use these even darker sections. I will make a copy just in case. Let's do the arm a little bit, because I think I have left it behind. Okay. And then maybe have the bottom one here. Let's try and make it dark. Maybe it will look better. Maybe these parts lighter. Maybe have this part with this sort of shade. More or less, I think. Doesn't look too bad. but I think that the feet in here, I see how some need to be changed quite a lot. And I think I will start to add some details already and see how well it may go. So we may choose a color like this one. I want to repeat this sort of pattern, make it like a signature thing. Like one of those parts of the visual language that are shared across different characters or elements. Okay, for now I will add it like this. Then let me check some of the references that I've always used. Then maybe a couple over here. We can always change their position anytime. Let's see, I want to avoid having this big blob of color without any form of decoration. because I wanted to try something similar to what I did over here. And then maybe try something like this. Not too sure, we may still change this one over time. I don't know, this area doesn't convince me too much. Let's try use the classical approach. Yes, and maybe add another subdivision, maybe. Maybe make this area darker than usual. Okay. Let's see. Yes, I mean, even already at this stage, it is already looking quite nice, but I still think that we will need to add much more elements. Okay, let me see if I can already merge the colors with this sketch. Let me save the document. Because now we can change both the colors and the sketch directly. Hello. Are you doing all that in one layer? Nope. Wait, let me show you, because the chat is covering it. Let me see if I can change it in a second. Okay, so the way I do is I use a lot of layers, and of course the more complex something is, like for example this one over here, especially for this area, like everything was one separate layer. But generally speaking, what I do is that I have two layers. I have one for the sketch and then the other for the one for the sketch and then one underneath for the colors. But then eventually at one point I will just merge the colors and the sketch together, and then continue from there with that single layer. And then every once in a while I make a copy of the layer I am working on and then continue from that copy. So in that way, over time there will be like a history of previous steps. So in case I want to ever, like let's say that I'm working with on a specific layer, I make a copy, continue from that layer, and for whatever reason I don't like the progress that I'm currently doing, I can easily go back to a previous layer, a previous copy of that layer which has a previous step, and then start over from there. And it's also a good way of showing your progress, because it went from like this to like this, then like this, and then like this. So it is also a good idea to do it, so you can keep track of all of the different steps that you've made, in order to not demotivate you. Because sometimes like I can understand how it could become a bit not necessarily overwhelming, but like you work a lot on a project, whatever it may be, and you don't get the impression that you are going anywhere in terms of progress. So having these sorts of backup, that you can always go back and check, they can greatly help you visualize the progress that you've made. Okay, and now that I've merged both the colors and the sketch, now we can paint over it and try to remove the parts of the sketch that we don't need. Yeah, it's basically a backup plan. Of course, you need to like Control S in order to save the project itself from time to time, because that is always a good idea. But this is an additional foolproof method that I highly recommend. Okay, so what I'm trying to do right now is try to break these sort of boundaries that I've made and try something similar to this one. That's because of one of the references that I am using, which, let me see if I can post it. Like this reference, I know it's much more sketchy in terms of details, but I want to try and replicate this sort of material in which, yes, it has some panels and padding, but they are it's as if you have like an additional layer that covers everything and is very tight, so there is kind of a smoother transition from one edge to the other. Let me see if I can find some other examples. Yes, this one here. This is another reference that I'm using. Oops, this one. Like, I'm trying to do this sort of effect, right? Which is, yes, technically behind this artificial skin layer there are two things that are not merged, but since there is this skin that presses against those elements, they kind of merge them together, even if underneath they may not be merged necessarily. Like, there are some areas that are clearly separated, like over here, but then there are also other areas that are which the separation is underneath and not as visible in the outer skin layer, like over here. Like, you can see how here it's much more defined, and then it kinda loses this separation, and that is the sort of effect that I will try now to replicate, essentially. I will try to follow the same logic that I've used for the other robots, which means that this kind of lesser separation will be more on the back, whereas on the bottom and on the more prominent anatomical elements, those I will keep separated. Like, I'll keep it separated if I want to emphasize some particular muscle-like structures, whereas if I want them to be a bit smoother, I will try to separate, like to blend some things, although not 100%, because I still want those volumes underneath to be visible. And imagine, like, let me see if I can find a very muscular person. It's basically the same concept that you get for when someone is full of muscles, right? I'm just grabbing like one random image. Like, in here, every muscle is separate from each other, right? But the skin adds this layer where they kind of, there is a smoother transition between one muscle and the other. This is the same thing that I'm trying to achieve, but with artificial muscles and artificial skin. And of course, with some other parts, the separation is very much necessary. forgot the web close. Oh, thank you. Let me fix it right away. I am an idiot. There we go. Apologies about that. There we go. So now, oh wait, I think I made a big mistake. Let me fix it. Because I made some changes in the wrong layer. Okay. Now, yeah, you can see how before all separated, and now it's much more much smoother. Plus we are slowly erasing the sketch that was on top of everything, so it will start to give it a more polished and finished appearance. Which includes also like the edges over here, which I will fix that right away. Maybe I should blend in this area as well. And in this case, we will keep separated the layer of these tiny details. I will add more of them, but with these details I will keep them on a separate layer because it will make things much easier to deal with in case I want to change some shading in the bigger layer underneath. I want to fix the lighting in this one. And then add these very slight gradients that will give these surfaces this sort of matte black, matte military black that some military vehicles share. It is something that many, like some military vehicles have this sort of black coating that gives them that distinct look, which is what I've been trying to obtain with these concepts. Let's try and fix this area over here. I maybe add some more details over here, much like we've done in this area and this area. Okay, I think it looks way better at a distance. Maybe try to add some of this sort of shading. I don't know, maybe it's best if I do a sketch of it first and then shade it underneath. Let me find a quick reference. Okay. Okay. And then yeah, maybe something like so. Okay. I'm just trying to see what may work and don't have a full idea of what I'm doing, but maybe try and make things more defined, maybe. Maybe make this part bigger. I mean, I think it's better than not having anything in here, but maybe I am overcomplicating it a bit too much. Let's try and merge this part of this sketch and make it one. Let's see what happens if I merge this section. Oh, maybe it's a bit too much. However, in here I think it may work. Okay, and then maybe this area doesn't convince me too much. Because technically this part should go like this. So here there should be some sort of bump, or yeah, something like that. So let me try and do okay. And then I guess we could try and merge this part over here. Yeah, I think it's best if it does something like so. I'm not too sure. In here it was pretty straightforward, like the muscle of the shoulder, it is pretty much separate. Same thing over here. For this one, I could try and separate over here. Okay, let me see. How it works for the person. There we go. Okay, I think I have it. Let's remove these details over here. And then for this area, these ones, they should be the equivalent of the chest muscles. Which then you should do something like so. Yes, I think we cracked the code, so to speak. Yes, I think it's much better now. Maybe. This part over here. Yeah, we increase it like so. Okay, let's see before. Yeah, I think it works much better. Anatomically speaking, at least. Okay. Now it's only a matter of calibrating the highlights and the shadows in order to obtain a believable shape of the volumes. Yes, I think something like this would work. Maybe we can improve this area over here. And then try to add some of like some kind of wrinkles of the material. Okay. Maybe I placed too many wrinkles compared with the rest. Now let's work a little bit more on the other areas. Let's make a copy of the layer just in case. We remove the black outline. Maybe improve the shading of this metal plate. Yeah, I think we need to start working a little bit on the feet over here. I'll try to use, like I know that I haven't done much detail on the feet and claws of the previous robots, but I will try to give some form of detail. It's as if I am giving the robot some nail polish. Yeah, we need to work on the legs as well. and then apply the same types of shadows to these panels on the legs as well. Okay. Let's add a dark separation here. Yeah. Overall, I am really liking how this one is turning out. Though I'm not sure if I should add anything more in here, but of course we will eventually reach this stage where we add all of these little details and stuff like that. Maybe add some more lighting to these, I don't know how to call them, cables maybe? They look like cables, but they are not necessarily cables. Do I want to give it a more round shape? Something that resembles more like a tube. Okay, maybe these lines are way too dark. Let me see if I can correct them. Okay. I mean, so far, like we went from only sketch to this stage. I will be right back. I will do very short break and then we will continue the drawing for as far as we can. Be right back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. Oh. Let me fix this one. There we go. Okay, let me just drink some water and then we'll go right back into drawing our robot. And I think one thing we can do is flip the image. It may take a little bit because the file itself is it's slowly getting a bit big. But by flipping the image we can already see what we can fix and some mistakes that we may have made. So let me try to correct the course right away. And maybe add some more how can I say it? Add some more. God damn it! You know when you know what you want to say and you know how to say it, but at the moment you just don't remember. Like, yeah, have some clearer edges. Yeah, something like that. Because I think I may have overdone this sort of separation. So now I will try and go with the darker brush and try and separate a bit more where it's necessary. Hmm. Another cool way, like another good advantage of flipping the image is not only you will notice some mistakes and errors you might have overlooked, but because of how it sort of refreshes the image, it will make it more interesting to the eyes. Like, it is a perfect method in case you are growing a bit too tired or too bored to work on the same image. So if like you are drawing and you find yourself starting to get really bored into drawing whatever you are drawing, by flipping the image you will see it with a new under a new perspective, and it will make the whatever you are drawing much more interesting and give you that boost of motivation to continue. I think I need to add more shadow in here, in the belly. Okay. Let me see, let me do something real quick. Let me see if I can. One second. Okay. I am like on the side, like listening to some podcast and stuff like that. It is also something that I do enjoy listen to. Also, just out of, I don't know, maybe curiosity. Like, I do like to hang out in Discord calls and stuff like that. And, like, well, yes, I am streaming my process, but I do like to listen to what other people are saying. And in the meantime, even just draw stuff that I'm doing. Let's see if I can better shade this area in order to make much clearer separation between the front leg and like the leg that's closer to us and the one that is furthest away. Let me see if I can lower the luminosity of this area. Okay, let me see how I did that over here. Like, I know that usually with the it's something that's done in concept art in general, which to make things a bit faster, the leg that is behind, it's given much less detail. So I will try to give it the same effect in order to make it consistent with everything else. Okay. Let's try and do the same thing that we did over here for the other leg. I think I should increase the chest area over here. Let's see if we can do that. Let's do some warp. see if it works. I think it can, but okay. I think like this is a bit better, but we need to adjust a few things. Okay. Now, I was thinking, should we start doing the... because we did some very rough sketches of whatever it would be present on the back of this behemoth. Let me pull them up. If I do have them, but I should have them. Yes. Like this one for the cargo and this one for the artillery cannon. I think we could try and start doing something similar. I think I will try with the cargo sketch. Thing is, I think I want to find also a generic color for these sort of containers. Okay, let's try and work on this. I know that this one is not as precise in terms of sketch, but I don't think we need to do too much. Like, we don't need to overthink it, especially since we do have some references for this sort of containers. Okay. Maybe I will lower the opacity just slightly. Oh yeah, we could make them of this same material. Okay, let's see. Let's lower it a little bit. Okay. Okay, let me see the references for one moment. Okay. And now we try to do the details, but I'm not sure how well I can make them. I will try my best. I know that it may not be the most precise. Okay, could do maybe... Right, and let's try the other side. I have a feeling that these, like, items on the back of the robot are the things that are going to give me the most amount of headaches for this robot in particular. Okay. Maybe... Okay, I think we are slowly cooking. Try to do the same thing over here. Oh, and maybe now we can start adding some colors like we've done in these other ones. Let's try this kind of orange. Okay, and then have something like like these sort of like, I don't know how to call them, but those things that you use to wrap around some containers and keep them in place, like wraps maybe. Let's give it a slight shading. No way. Maybe I've overdone it. We do... Oops. Okay, maybe I could try... Okay, let me try something to add. Maybe a little bit darker. It doesn't convince me too much. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me try and fix this one. Oh, mistakes were made. There we go. And maybe... I don't know what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just trying to see what sticks. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, I think. Now I want to make the platform underneath, I guess. Let's see. Cargo platform, and I think I would make it very, very dark, like almost completely black. Okay, and then we will give some shading. Yeah, let me see if I can make it a bit thicker, maybe. Maybe now let's try and do the belts. I think that would be, I don't know if I should make it of the same orange as this one. Let's try it out. Maybe not necessarily sticking to like these positions. Oops. There we go. Okay, and then maybe underneath. Hi boss, just stopping by to check. How are you? Thank you. We made quite a lot of progress for this robot in particular. We started that it was only a mere sketch. Let me see if I can manage to pull it up in a moment. No, not this one. Let me group some things for a moment. Accessories. We started with him looking like this, and this is now the current progress for today. It's nothing too crazy, I think. but we are going at a steady pace. Buff boy indeed. Like right now I am working on the cargo over here and try to figure out a way to make it fit. Wait, I realized, is that huge? Yeah. Basically the idea is that it can function both as a transport robot and as an artillery robot, because it may also have a giant cannon on its back. Right now I am focusing on the cargo aspect. And for this one, I need to find a way to like merge this one somehow, because I don't like to have this area over here. So maybe it could be like some form of tarp, maybe, like, you know, those kind of military tarps to make things fit, to make them fit. But oh my god, boss, do you know what happened in my school's orientation? I was sitting at the very back, right? And during the hours of the orientation, they were talking about sports injuries, and then some people were suddenly standing. Huh. Okay. What if I make this one like a greenish tint? A grade 7 fainted. I'm not too familiar with like grades. I'm not sure how it works, but I hope they were okay. Oh my god, as it was so sad. And then another fainted who was grade 9. Jesus, like, did you have some carbon monoxide in the room or something? Like, what did you have in that room that made everyone just drop? Like, did they start pumping chloroform inside the building? Maybe you were about to be enrolled in the Squid Games. Okay, let me see if I can find a quick reference. Military tarp. Okay. 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 I will add some slight form of shading. And then I think I will try something different to give this sort of tarp effect. No, maybe not this one, but let's try this one. Nope. Let's try this one maybe. I'm trying to use some sort of stems to try and mimic the type of military tarp like camouflage. Wait, I don't know, man, the room was huge and I was having my head wet. We dropped some rainwater. Well, maybe it's possible that someone had like a heat stroke or something if it is really hot to you. So fool boy, what was? I hope you will have a blessed day / night. See ya. Hey, thank you for sticking by. And I hope no one got seriously injured from that experience, I would say. I'll tell you more about what happened when I can. I'm not ready for the self-introduction thing at class, we haven't done it yet. Yeah, fair enough. Hold on. Okay. Maybe add a bit of color. Oh, we also need to add some very dark, I would say almost completely black section over here. And then maybe it's best if I use a regular. I don't know if this one makes sense. I don't know if it gives a good impression of it being some sort of ghillie suit. Let me see. Okay, yeah, let me remove the mask altogether. Yeah, let me try and switch over to this one. Yeah, okay, the edges, I think like this it works. But then there is like the camo aspect. Let me see if I can maybe change some parts of the color a little bit. I don't know, it doesn't look that great, if I want to be completely honest. Hmm. I don't know. This doesn't convince me really much. Although I do like how I made like these straps over here. I think we can briefly turn off these accessories. We'll go back to them later, I think. And now that I've added these accessories, I think I can see how some things maybe they need to be changed about the anatomy. Like I think this part over here needs to be addressed. So for instance, like this part, it could be increased, I think. Maybe I should do it with this part as well. Yeah, something like this. Okay. Like this, it looks way more chunky, but I think it serves its purpose better. Hmm. Oh, 1 second. Let's see now if it makes sense if we turn on the accessories. Yeah, I think this works way better. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me try and clean some things up for the feet down here as well. Okay. Increase the nails a little bit over here. I'll try to bring the legs up to the level of detail of the upper area. Then I think we can make the stream like stop it here for today. Because I think the next step that we will do is try to add the details like we've done like in here for the main body, and then if there is time work a bit more with the accessories that will be attached on the top of the robot. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Let's maybe start to already fix some things over here. But yeah, I think this can be considered as a good stopping point for today. I am quite satisfied with what we've done. With the amount of things that we've done, considering that we started with only one sketch. If I had to predict how long it may take for this robot in particular, I think that we will be able to finish it in 2 streams top, I think. Or maybe like, well, next stream in which we'll work on this one, it would be only for 1 hour and a half. But then I think that for the next one, which would be next Saturday, for this robot in particular, I think we'll be able to do most of the work and then finishing touches next Saturday. Yeah, that is my prediction. Let's hope that it will take a shorter amount of time and not longer, but I am pretty confident that this one overall will be different, like much simpler to deal with than with this robot over here. But overall, I am very happy with how this one went out. So, I mean, there isn't much to say, to be completely honest. Happy with the current result. We go slow, but we go steady. I have to be completely honest, I didn't expect this project of the robots to last as long as it did. Because theoretically it should be one of those minor projects that we decided with the wheel of names or with the random wheel generator thing. But I am enjoying doing this thing. I think that after this one, once we finish it, I think we'll have like 2 or 3 more robots to make, and by the end of this like mini project, I think we'll finish with a considerable amount of drawings, which together they will make for a nice presentation for this project over here. So we will meet on Friday with the other project, in which we will continue the other sister in her younger version. Last stream we started the coloring process, and we will continue it. As for this one, we will pick it back up on we will pick it back up on Saturday for the drawing and gaming stream. A big thank you to those who have joined, even just to say hi, and I hope that at least with my streams you learn something new, even if it's not something as like deep or complicated. Even if it is something simple, as long as you learn something new from my streams, I will be very, very happy. So we will meet each other in a couple of days. Having said that, this has been the Void Executive, and I will see you in the next company meeting. Have a good night, everyone.